Welcome to Week 5 Wrap-Up. So as we mentioned earlier, we covered chapters 9 and 10. This gave us the ability to look at different things. Some of the things that we had to do that day, this past week, let's take a look at that. So for Week 5, we had a couple things that we were working on. As I said, we were working on chapters 9 and 10. So in the lecture note, or in your assignments, you had 2 weekly questions, one for each chapter. And that was it. We had no weekly paper. We had a quiz and a journal. So it was a little late this week. I know not much, but still we had a little bit less to work on. And you also had some information up there for you. So week 9, we looked at the physical security. How do we go about physically securing the building? Are we using, do we have door locks? Do we have security guards? Even with employees, is IT secure down? Is it in the middle of the room? Is it in the middle of a, does it have access, or is it locked down, someplace hidden? Or some people don't even know about it. So IT is one of these funky things. We need to make sure we have security, that the building is physically locked down. Do we have cameras so we can see what's going on? Fences in place so not anyone can walk up to the thing. What physical barriers do we have? How about parking? Can anyone park in our parking lot, or do we only want people who we want to know, employees working there? There is the thing of drive-by warning, where people try to hack your Wi-Fi by sitting out in a parking lot. Happened years ago to a couple stores. The perpetrator pulled up next to it in a van, connected to their Wi-Fi. So how close do we want just individuals to get that do not belong into our area? So that's some of the things we covered this week. We looked at some different areas of biometrics. You know, we can have obviously your fingerprint, the patterns that are on it, ridges and valleys. We can look at the retina, the iris, the color, that's the color of your eye, hand geometry, facial recognition, tempo of typing, signature analysis, voice recognition. These are all forms of biometrics that can be used to help ensure that the people are who they say are. As you know, a password could be stolen. A badge could be stolen or lost, and someone can use that for different things. Where biometrics really has to be that person trying to get in. Now, you see in the movies all the wonderful things they do about circumventing it. Yes, that all can happen. But let's face it, we're working at a small, mid-sized, or even a large company. They're not going to go through that effort. But we need to make sure that we have something. No matter what type of system we put in place, we need to make sure that the employee can get to the access when they need it. We can't have a system in place that rejects everyone. And that is where we can either have a fake acceptance or a false rejection rate. So we need to make sure that whenever we're dealing with securing something, that employees can get to it when they want. And that's a big key of everything that we need to know in Chapter 9. What else did we have? What is the cost of biometric system? Again, we can spend millions of dollars, but if our data is not worth it, is it really worth spending that much? So we need to make sure that we have a fine balance of what our data is and what we need to lock down. What kind of locks do we put in? Combination, cipher locks, magnetic locks. So we need to make sure that we have these things. Are they going to use tokens to get in? What are the best practices that have to be out there? So basically we looked at the physical security of the building and within our company. What do we put in there? The different controls within the enterprise system we looked at. We looked at the access control list. Who can be on that list? The access control entries. So who, you know, we have the entries within that list, but we have to control that list. Who can get in? Who can have access to deleting and reading and writing and modifying and execute commands? Very similar to what we looked at last week with the files. So these are some of the areas that we need to look at, that we looked at in Chapter 10. We looked at the different tokens, the smart cards. How do we keep someone out from that? So these are the areas that we looked at. All right, so that was Chapter 10. I'm sorry, Week 5. Yes, Chapter 10, Week 5. Have a wonderful weekend. Remember to smile.